Hello, everyone. It's the After Hours Show with me, your host, Evan J. Thomas. We got a great show for you tonight. You know, growing up, comedy has been one of my favorite genres, whether it's famous comedians like George Carlin or current comedians like Dave Chappelle. My guest today is Max Isla, an upcoming comedian who might make it to my list of favorite comedians. Give it up for my guest, Max Isla, everybody.
Hey everybody, how are we doing this evening? I'm Max Isla, and I think I'm cursed. Not by like really bad or anything, just kind of a little cursed by like a minor voodoo god or something. Because nothing really bad happens, but I don't stub toes, I stub fingers, I forget my lunch, I'll leave my car door open for like 3 hours at a time, which just proves that nothing of mine is nice enough to steal, or that I'm just in a good neighborhood. Also, I seem to spill coffee on myself every single day. It could be because I have a bad lid, but that'd be too close to admitting personal responsibility, so I can't do that. And as to why I'm cursed, I think it's because I step on cracks in the sidewalk, or I miss stairs. I have to step on every other stair. But that's just another problem entirely that I'm dealing with by not dealing with it, like every good broke millennial. Like, I'm so broke, occasionally I'll have breakfast by sleeping in. That's my breakfast for the day. And I think this is why brunch is so important to millennials, is because it's a 2-for-1. You get breakfast and lunch for the price of one all together. And also, you're allowed to drink mimosas. I mean, the only thing keeping me from drinking in the morning is social convention. And social convention sucks. For example, I went on a date with a lady who I met at a bar. I thought she was younger and she thought I was older. Turns out she was 36. And she had an 18-year-old daughter, and I'm 22. And social convention forced me to not ask for her daughter's number, which kind of hurt. And yes, I know, I just said I met her in a bar, unlike Tinder where everyone else seems to meet their dates nowadays. But this is how I think I'm gonna make my money, until I really thought about it. Tinder for roommates. You know, you can take pictures, you can swipe through, swipe right, swipe left, you can find people with like a similar style, similar levels of cleanliness. But then the more I thought about it, the more I realized it would be like regular Tinder, where I'd take a picture of my room after I cleaned it, move those beer cans out of the way. And then I'd add a couple filters in there too, make it look extra nice. And then just like regular Tinder, once you actually meet your roommates in person, you'll be greatly disappointed and upset. And that's all the time I got tonight. Have a good evening.
Let's give it up to my guest, comedian Max Isla, everybody. So how you doing tonight?
I'm doing pretty good, doing all right.
Doing all right. So we saw your stand-up set. How did you get into comedy?
Well, so growing up, I loved listening to comedy albums. I wasn't, when other people would listen to music, I would listen to different comedians, and I really, really loved it, being funny, making the world better by laughing. So it's always been something that I really loved, and as I've grown up, I've evolved my my comedic tastes, and I've spent some time on stage before doing stage acting, so that I just kind of transitioned over into doing comedy on stage.
And how do you get the courage to get up on stage? Was there a time in your life where you just kind of all of a sudden just did it? Or did you have to get the courage to just do it?
So, as I said, growing up, I did a lot of stage acting that was forced on by my mom. And then, so I've been in plays before, and then I was part of an improv group, which it really helps with kind of getting your comedic chops down. And then transitioning from there, I just, one night some of my buddies were like, oh, there's an open mic night, you should go on and do it. And then I went on and did about 5 minutes. Didn't really prepare, didn't go that great, but I really liked it, so I kept going on from there.
And tell me about some of your favorite comedians. Like, who are some of your all-time favorites or current ones?
All-time favorites. Is George Carlin. He's a classic. Old-timey Seinfeld, I'm a sucker for. More current day, I really like Dan Cummings, Chad Daniels, Doug Stanhope, Chicago local, Kyle Kinane, big fan of his.
And your inspiration for comedy, where does it come from?
Where does my inspiration come from? I'd say I make a lot of stupid decisions in my life, so it just gives me good stories to tell. And then it's like, you know what? I got funny stories. I tell them to my friends. Might as well tell them for some more people.
Well, that's always good. I mean, you have to have some kind of inspiration, whether it's everyday stuff. So we're going to stick around after the break, and we're going to learn more about Max's upcoming radio show and other things doing with himself, where he can refine himself here on the After Hours with Evan J. Thomas.
I'm Officer Feld. I've been on the task force for the Illinois State Police for about 12 years now, 12 years and counting.
I'm Deputy Sutton. I've been a deputy for 12 years.
All right, so we're heading to the spot where a few civilians reported that there was a drunk driver. Okay, this is our guy. We're gonna light him up. He was going on the curb. He was driving on the sidewalk. We're gonna see. I want to get the. All right, I got passengers. All right, sir, you understand why you're getting arrested today?
Why is that now?
You're going to jail because of a DUI. You were driving under the influence. You're drunk in public, very intoxicated, and you're also underage. You're not 21.
Am I gonna get my ID back?
Get him in the car.
Hi, this is Tyler. And the Illinois winter can be hard for all of us, including our furry best friends. Our pets can feel freezing temperatures just the same as all of us. If it's too cold for you, it probably is for them too. The American Humane Society suggests keep your pets inside both day and night. Just because they have fur doesn't mean they can withstand those cold temperatures. Thanks, and keep your pets inside. This is Tyler.
And we are back with the After Hours Show. I'm Evan J. Thomas, and we're talking with Max Isla, comedian. So Max, I heard that you're going to be starting your own radio show. How's that coming about?
So it's been a lengthy process getting a lot of stuff set up. I've done, some more podcasty type stuff in the past where I've worked with some of my friends who have their own, coming on as like a guest and stuff like that. And then, so I've been working on setting up my own podcast, internet radio type deal. And then working here at IMS, I've been slowly but surely working towards getting either a sports talk show up or a just regular music type radio station.
And what kind of content are you looking for in terms of the music side of your show?
For the music side, looking more, I've always been a big, mostly grunge type fan, but also, all metal. I'm willing to do pretty much anything in the rock genre. I'm just a music fan in general, but if I'm going to be playing something, I'd play, what my favorite things are, which is
Well,
that.
who are some of your favorite bands growing up and now? And
This is going to come off kind of basic. Pearl Jam's probably my favorite band. Green Day, classic. The Offspring, just because they're funny and their songs are good to jam with too. So.
All right, well, those are like 25-year-old bands. What about current bands?
Current bands, I don't.
Current music. You don't listen to current music?
I listen to current music. I'd have to go with things like Before Humans, Arctic Monkeys, just because, I've got a hipster streak to me, so.
And you said you were getting into voiceover work as well, doing with IMS. So what are you looking to get into? Like, is there certain characters that you're looking to voice?
Certain characters I'm looking to voice, that's a tough one, because I like to think of myself as a real open person who's willing to do whatever someone needs me to do. But characters I feel like I do really well are those lazy, relaxed types, the kind of that stoner-esque character types. But also those like...
Not stereotyping you or anything, but...
but I also do, some of those... I've got a good authority figure voice, for like teachers and stuff like that. Like, no, stop, sit down.
And what about like coaches, like football coaches and stuff like that? You probably
I hadn't even thought of that, but I think that's something I could do.
Pull it off, man. You can pull it off. You can be like the Friday Night Lights coach.
I was gonna say Remember the Titans.
Or that one.
Yeah.
So you've also done. You mentioned on the first segment stage acting. Your mom pushed you into doing some stage stuff. So what stage programs have you done?
All right. So it started when I was like 4, and then I was put on a classic like Christmas pageant. And then I actually really liked it, and so I started doing other stuff. I started as mostly minor roles. I've never been the big main actor, but I've spent a lot of time doing not just they're side characters, but they're not mini side characters. So I have, generally 5 to 10 minutes of stage time. I've been in a bunch of different productions, like A Christmas Carol. I did Camelot, which was a lot of fun. Did Stalag 17.
Do you remember any of your lines from any of those?
Scrooge.
That was the one you had.
That's the easiest one I could remember.
What about Hamlet? What did you have in that one?
Ooh, Hamlet. I don't think I did Hamlet.
You did.
Camelot.
Camelot, okay.
Yeah. I was actually playing Morgan, which is King Arthur's cousin, who's supposed to be a witch. In our production, they turned me into a weird warlock, that was a lot of fun actually. Gotta get real weird with it.
And do you remember any lines from that, or did you not have any lines? Was it all just like improv?
It wasn't improv, so I had lines. I'm really blanking on what they are right now.
It's all right, it happens.
Yeah.
And we talked about doing some voiceover work as well. Is there characters that are out now, like anything from TV or movies that you think you could have done better?
That I could have done better. I'm going to take some flack for this. I really think I could have been Arthur Morgan in the new Red Dead Redemption game.
Ooh.
Got a bit of a good, Western, broken down voice, like it was.
That would be good. You could probably easily pull off some Western voices as well.
Yeah.
Do like a Deadwood type voice.
Oh, yeah.
All that stuff there. So we're gonna talk more coming into the next break. We're gonna be talking more about Max's personal life, his dating. We also have. Let's talk about some sports as well.
All right, sports are always good to talk about.
Might as well do that.
Talk about sports for days.
So we're going to talk about sports for days here on the After Hours show with Evan J. Thomas. We'll be back in a few moments here on After Hours.
We asked some people what should America have more of, and here's what they had to say.
America needs more positivity.
America needs more empathy.
Hope. True people.
Positivity.
Respect. Leave it at that.
Diversity.
Authenticity. Culture.
Paz. Humility.
Money.
Armonía.
The artists.
Love.
Love.
And that's what America needs more of.
Meow meow, bitch.
Your hair look like twisters that a dog would eat.
Kevin is the prettiest woman I have ever seen. What the is this?
You look like an unathletic Marshawn Lynch.
You're ugly and don't deserve to be here. Do yourself and the world a favor and kill yourself. Words hurt. Prevent cyberbullying.
All right, we're back here on the After Hours show with Evan J. Thomas with Max Isla. Now we're going to get into Max's brain and pick him out a little bit more about his personal life. So we've talked about in the past couple weeks, you and I, your sock game. So let's see what you got going on today with your sock game.
All right, so I've got some good socks today. I've got my flamingo socks, which are freaking tight. They're amazing.
Freaking tight.
And I've also got some, you probably can't read them, but they say certified pain in the ass. And my mom got me those for Christmas, actually.
Certified pain in the ass. So
yes.
Better than certified badass.
Yeah, certified pain in the ass. And honestly, I can't blame her. I think they fit my general life very well.
So your sock game, how many socks or pairs of socks, or what do you think you have floating around your room?
All right, so I don't actually really have pairs of socks. I mean, I buy pairs of socks, but I never match them up because that's like my little way of like kind of sticking it to the man a little bit, trying to be an individual any way I can to make my personality seem like it's actually there. So I'd say probably I own about 25 pairs, so about 50 socks in total.
And you just kind of just go with the flow on what you're going to wear on a daily basis, depends on your mood?
So a little bit on the mood, that always helps, and I try to get like a common theme running. Today it's just my two favorite ones, and it's a weaker theme for me, but I do have good ones like, it'll be Dinosaur Day or it'll be Bar Food Day, stuff like that.
So you do have your favorites, obviously, and then some of your non-favorites. Where do you get your socks? Like, is there certain stores, websites? Where do you get them?
So I get them from all over. So I've gotten some people have given me as gifts before, but I also go out and buy my own. So it's whether it's going to like a Walmart or a JCPenney, just looking around, seeing if they have anything funny, or I go to funsocks.com. You guys better pay me for that. Funsocks.com, they actually have a lot of different stuff. They've got like more classical socks. They've got just like basic stripe and argyle, but they also have funny ones. They've got like jellyfish, koalas.
Gotcha. And obviously with the sock game, it kind of fits your personality with the comedy and just kind of have fun with it as you go.
Yeah, you gotta be all loosey-goosey with it.
You like wearing the medium shirts as well, so that always works. During the break, you and I were discussing, your dating situation and one of your dating stories. I know you kind of mentioned it in your little bit there, but elaborate a little bit on your dating scenario on one of your funniest stories.
Yeah, so I am unfortunately tragically single. The dating game's been not too rough on me. I feel like I do generally all right when I'm actually trying, which I'm not really at this moment. But yeah, as I did my bit for a second, you can see there was a woman, I used to work with her, and I was a bartender at this place, and she was a waitress. And so we had this kind of friendly rapport that we had back and forth. And then she had left that job, and about like 6 months later, we ran into each other at a different bar, and we hit it off, and we were talking, and we agreed to go on a date sometime, which we then did. And then we realized on the date how little we actually knew about each other. There was not much in common.
But isn't that why you date, is to kind of learn about people?
Yeah, I mean, that is a big part of it. You want to learn and get to know people. But this was one where there wasn't much connection. And as we were talking, we just started to realize, like, I thought she was, older 20s. She thought I was, mid to older 20s. And as we're talking, she started realizing that, no, I'm actually younger 20s. And I started realizing, like, oh, she's actually in her 30s. And the more and more we talked, and like by the end, after it's become obvious that like we're gonna have not no future, but like this isn't gonna go anywhere.
Yeah.
She broke out that she actually had an 18-year-old daughter, which then immediately it was like, oh, okay.
Do I go that route or do I not go that route?
Yeah, it was a real tough one. I was able to restrain myself, which is good because I'm normally a pretty impulsive dude. I'm amazed I didn't just blurt out what's her number, but I didn't. So it's one of my finer moments in a not so fine situation.
So who paid for the date, or did you split it?
I still paid for it.
You paid for the whole date, even though you knew it was it a first date, obviously?
Yeah, first date.
Oh, man.
Classic patriarchy coming to bite me in the butt.
And how's your current dating situation? Like anything recent that's coming up with you?
Not really. There was this one girl, she was a teacher I was talking to for a while, but since then, haven't really been doing much. I've been a bit busy working, about 50, 60 hours a week, so haven't really had time for it.
Well, that's why you have the after hours
Yeah.
to hook up. There you go. So, Max, thank you for joining us today. Here, I want to thank you. On the next show, we'll be having up-and-coming music producer DJ Wiz. Until next time, after